So whatever happened to Reynaldo?
Ronaldo said he was going to buy a new computer one week, and then the next week he simply wasn't there.
So perhaps he did, but the meetings didn't transfer to his new one? It shouldn't work that way, but maybe it did.
I'm a little fuzzy on all things Ronaldo. How long ago was that?
That was a little over 2 years ago.
All I remember about him is his dog. His dog would show up sometimes and just run around and cause a little bit of chaos. But, what I was going to say was, Wenjun, I wish she was still part of the group because, she was just... And her mom would show up every now and then, remember? She was a kind little old lady that would sit there and not say anything, but that's fine. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Ah, yes, I agree. Wenjin's mother was at a total of 4 meetings.
So I seem to remember Wenjun had to move for something.
Yes, moving and getting a new job that conflicted with the meeting times. And then we were down to 5.
Or 4.5. I don't know if we can count Emma. She's hardly ever here.
At least she comes back. So many of us just simply stop showing up.
Speaking of which, where is Shari? She's been the first of the meeting in quite a long time.
She'll show up. She always does. So, Brittany, did you ever hear back from the instructor on those videos that you sent over to him?
Oh, no, not a word. I'm sure he's real busy. I mean, a worldwide stress management guru like him is always in demand, right?
Yeah, but remember, his company folded or disappeared. The mental positive company. They're gone. He was the president of it and it just went away.
I'm sure COVID was tough on them, just like every other.
Yeah, but it took you, 3 years to track him down again? It's like he didn't want to be found.
He's hiding. It's because he's waiting for one of us, or all of us, to complete our 8-year journey. Yes.
You really think this is a reality show, like Big Brother or Survivor or something?
I, for one, hope so, because I think that would be the ultimate game. The one that you entered, but you didn't know you entered, and yet you have entered it. You're in it, but you don't know you're in it.
But if this is true, how would they keep track of everything?
The same way you do. You take notes, you log who's here and who isn't, right?
Well, sure, but are they here now? If they are, they're quite hidden.
Sherry's here? Sorta?
The game show idea of these meetings is the most interesting, but I still think it's probably just data gathering by big business.
But that's boring if it's true. I just think this is all a happy accident.
Speaking of happy, or, not so happy, Sherry looks not so great. I mean, grumpy even.
She's always grumpy. This is just the soundless version of her, so you notice different things.
Hey Sherry, can you hear us? I take that as a no.
Let me just send her a quick email.
I really wish the chat feature still worked. I wonder why it doesn't now. It worked when there was 100 people.
I bet Instructor Charles turned it off that one time where it was popped on. Where he said, "You can all go home, get out of here," kind of thing. It's only supposed to be 8 meetings, not 418. It's a mistake, blah, 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 blah. That's probably when chat went goodbye.
Possibly. That whole meeting was weird. What was that, number 9?
No, that was meeting 10. Also, Shari hasn't replied yet.
She seems too busy trying to make her computer work.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out here. I mean, maybe, possibly, Instructor Charles was perhaps a fraud.
No way. He was the biggest name in stress management at the time.
Plus, this was a free 8-week course. What sort of money is he making off of that?
That, but just ineffective. You're just a snake oil type of dude.
Snake oil? What does that even mean? Look, he was being hired by all sorts of people to give talks and seminars.
A few years prior, he gave a talk at the bank I used to work at. You just prefer substitute chairman. That's all this about.
Yes, but no. She had more energy and whatnot, but remember, this is earlier in the day for me because trying to listen to Instructor Charles monotone his way through 60 minutes was like a little difficult.
Finally!
Oh, what happened?
Her computer seemed like it didn't want to work, right?
The computer was just the icing of the cake of a terrible, terrible day.
So, what happened?
Well, first, I was fired. I no longer work at the coffee shop. Secondly, I got on the wrong bus that took me miles and miles and miles away from my home. And thirdly, the computer has just picked the absolute worst day to act up.
Don't worry or panic, Shari. Remember what Instructor Charles always used to say. Etc. ETC.
Embrace the change.
More like embrace the crap.
Ooh, sounds like we need to break out the Shari emergency kit.
Oh, that is so cute!
Or this.
That is so sweet.
And also, this.
So sweet. Although, Rob, do not break out that stupid rabbit video. That would just be the worst timing. Although, it wouldn't be surprising considering how badly this day's going.
Nah, I promise. Not today, at least.
Shari, I thought they loved you at the coffee shop. Weren't you Employee of the Month, like, just recently?
Yes, thank you. Although apparently I've gone across some imaginary line and made one of our really stupid customers angry. Now all of that's just got thrown out the window.
Awards at work are mostly useless. I should show you guys the ridiculous award that I won recently.
Did you say something that made the customer angry?
Guess so. He came in demanding a pumpkin spice latte. So I reminded him that it was not October, so therefore we did not have a pumpkin spiced latte. But he kept saying he wanted one, and I kept reminding him that it is not October, so it is not the latte of the month. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Well, that doesn't sound too terrible. Probably not enough to get you fired.
It doesn't end there. He then insisted that he'd got the pumpkin spice latte from here, which I told him there was no way that happened and that he must be confusing us with somewhere else. But then he demanded it again. So I told him he had 3 options. He could either go home and wait patiently for next October, or he could go home and build a time machine so that he could go back to last October or forward to next October.
Ooh, that is a little harsh. Sounds like something I would say. Although, yeah, if I did, I would already have some fake time machine instructions and I would hand it to him and I'd say, get to work on this. It'll solve your coffee dilemma.
But it doesn't end there. Then he said he wanted to speak to the manager. And I said, there's no point. She's just going to say exactly the same thing that I've said. And then I told him to get out. He was holding up the line.
Customers that are set on one thing that does not exist are the worst.
Anyway, by this point, the manager did manage to show up. and she made him a pumpkin spice latte. Apparently, the pumpkin spice flavour was in that secret storage cupboard that no one knows about. She said we needed a chat. It was short and sweet. I was fired.
I'm just so sorry to hear that, Shari.
Do you want me to show up there with a hidden camera and demand all sorts of nonsense? And I'll post it on social media. I've done it before.
No. Revenge is not appropriate.
It's not that revengey, it's just some fun. At their expense, of course.
So that was only part of the ordeal. Then I went to the bus stop after I'd been dismissed. And because I was kind of frazzled after this whole experience, I wasn't really paying much attention. So I got on what I thought was my bus, but because it was a different time, it turned out to be a completely different bus. And I ended up just out in the middle of nowhere.
Were you at a different stop?
No! Same stop, different time. Turns out that it means it's a completely different bus, as I'm finding out.
So he ended up in the wrong place. Couldn't you just tell him to like turn around and take you back because you're on the wrong thing?
Have you not ever been on a bus? That's not how it works.
I was going to say the same thing.
So I did ask the driver how I should get home, considering that I was on this wrong bus. But he said because he was driving, he cannot help me while he is driving.
Clearly not a multitasker.
Right? Not at all helpful. Luckily, there was a fellow passenger that told me about an app that has like all the bus times and stuff on. Apparently I did already have it, I just never use it. It is terrible, but it did give me a number to call if I needed help.
Not many apps will point you to a lower tech solution. Very rare.
So I talked to dear Eugenia on the phone, who told me that I need to transfer to the number 47 and then to the number 12 to get back home. But this took nearly 30 minutes of her typing away on her computer to figure it out.
That reminds me, there's this one time I was in an airport and I picked up one of those courtesy phone things and I asked, how do I leave? And they asked me by plane or by car or by bus. And I knew it had to be something not the plane because I'd just gotten off a plane. But beyond that, I wasn't quite sure. So they couldn't really help me.
How is that relevant? I mean, Sherry's had a bad day, a really bad day.
Just trying to relate. That was the closest thing I could think of.
Anyway, I made the transfers that Eugenia told me about and I managed to get home. Later than normal. And then, of course, today was the day that my computer decided to take the day off.
Yes, we all sure saw all of that. What was actually wrong?
It didn't want to connect to the meeting, and then when it did, it was just a big mess. What a stupid day. Can I just redo it or something?
Sorry it was so terrible for you, Shari.
Wow, Shari, I've had some bad days, but your day, whew, that might top all of mine, or most of mine in recent memory at least.
How are you feeling now, Shari?
I don't know. Gloomy. Like the world hates me. Except I somehow knew that if I could get back home and get on to see you guys, it would somehow be a little bit better. You guys are the best.
Now, are you sure you don't want me to go over to the coffee shop and be really annoying? I am good at it. It might make you laugh and when I share the footage.
No, but thanks, Rob. I know that's just your way of helping.
Sherry's so very neat and amazing. You ought to check out when she's phrasing, when she says...
Greg, please. No songs. Especially not about me. Just throw up some more animal videos and pictures if you want to cheer me up. That song was just uncomfortable.
Really? Well, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just off the top of my head. Yeah.
So, Shari, while you were not here, we were talking about old times. Reminiscing about those who are no longer at these meetings.
Like Reynaldo, Wenjun, and some others.
Oh, I like those discussions. Can we jump back to that maybe?
Well, we still have another 20 minutes left. So, I guess we sure can.
If Greg continues to insist Gemma was somehow better than Charles, I mean, seriously flawed.
Gemma was okay. Okay, she didn't know as much as Charles, but actually, she was a bit more fun.
Are you saying she was better?
Not a chance. Just different. And as you know, I'm pretty sure that I saw substitute instructor Gemma the other day. It was from quite far away, but I'm pretty sure it was her.